Time to witness the Sangam of experts and have the insightful, inspiring, and diverse perspectives on the topic, Yoga is the Inner Victory. It's time for panel discussion, and I feel privileged in welcoming and introducing our honorable guests. Our first guest is Boulahfa Mimoun Abdel from Spain. He is Vice President of World Movement for Yoga, Milan, Executive Councillor Representative, European Yoga Federation, organizer of the first World Yoga Congress in 2019, sponsored by the Embassy of India, ambassador and member of Global Council of the World Global Community 2020. He is also an Ayurvedic therapist. He has done various diplomas in tourist companies, in business studies, a specialist in foreign trade, diploma in yoga, Pandit. He also has attended international conferences and done courses in various countries such as Masters Yoga by the International Yoga Federation, Masters Yoga by the Argentina Yoga Federation, Masters Yoga by the European Yoga Federation. Our next guest is Yogi Baba Adnan Ananda Siddhi Viho Kabuk from Turkey. The cultural richness of his homeland nourished his soul and his life journey through matching the logical aspects of the Occident with the emotional aspects of the Orient. He attended many training programs and learning yoga from various teachers, healers, gurus and masters all over India and in the Far East. In 1996, he started to teach yoga in Istanbul and founded a yoga school which he named after one of his gurus, Siddha Ashram Yoga Center. He has his ashram in the Taurus Mountains of Alanya and Antalya, Turkey, where he teaches classical spiritual yoga. Other than teacher training programs, he also hosts yoga purification camps in his ashram. He has his autobiography by the name Without Disturbing the Silence, The Life Adventure of a Mesopotamian Yogi, published in 2008. Our next guest is Kilohana Silve, who is hula artist and choreographer. She always sought to promote Hawaiian culture abroad. She founded the first Hawaiian dance school in France, Halau Hula o Manau, named after the valley in which she was born. After 30 years in Paris, she returned to Hawaii and continues to teach Haumana in Alaska and China. Through her classes at Kapiolena Hospital Women's Center and the Salvation Army's Drug Recovery Program, she has become a pioneer in the promising new field of hula for health. She also participated in the annual Talk Story Festival in Honolulu and released a CD of Hawaii tales, chants and music. Today we also have with us Arjuna Gustavo Plaza, a renowned yoga and meditation teacher. He started his yoga path at a very early age and has over 30 years of practice and study of yoga. His sharing and presentation of yoga includes various aspects of the tradition such as Hatha Yoga, meditation, pranayam, philosophy, yoga metaphysics and yoga nidra. He has participated as a presenter and teacher in international yoga events like Bhakti Feast, Joshua Tree, California, USA, Dakini Festival, Yoga General Conference, Moscow. With a steady, firm, yet humorous and kind teaching style, he shares the wisdom and this ancient tradition with everyone. Today's panel discussion will be moderated by Dr. Vikrant Singh Tobur, Convener United Consciousness. Dr. Tobur is an acknowledged trainer, academician, scholar, writer and a management consultant. He's a freelance trainer and served the cabinet ministers of state, MLAs, police officers and tycoons of the business world. His aim and objective is universal brotherhood and happiness through harmonizing the knowledge from the ancient scriptures into our lives. So I welcome all our guests for panel discussion.
I welcome you, Baba Adnan. I welcome Arjuna Gustavo ji, and I welcome Kilohana ji in this grand celebration of International Yoga Day. And I also welcome our audiences from different parts of the world. What an excellent topic we have today to discuss. Yoga is the inner victory. So, when we talk about victory, it means there is a battle, then you win over. So, the question comes, battle of what? Who with what? Who fights this battle and against what he or she fights the battle? So, I will come to first Yogi Baba Adnanji with a question that when we say that yoga is an inner victory, who are the inner enemies we fight with? Over to you, Yogi Baba Adnanji.
One, of course, it is. It is our worldly weaknesses, which we call the ego, the fear, the anger and hate, the attachments as worldly materials. We are learned from childhood, became naturally from the surrounding and family life as the tradition and the education we get from the society that we are a physical body. We are identified as we are physically seen in the mirror. So we thought we are who we are. We are tall, we are dark, we are this, we are that. So it came to the discussion that we have to become good because we think it's better to become good looking, it's better to have more material because it's the physical body needs satisfaction. So we have to satisfy the physical because we think we are the physical body. So all materials we have used for centuries that we have to work for that to get better looking, to get more material, to get cars, house, whatever, and to have more power, to become important, to become famous, etc., etc. They are all the attachment to the physical body. So we have learned this, unfortunately, as we are the entity of this body. But this is not the truth. We realized it by the time, by our education, realization, by going to do to practice Sufism, to practice mystic, all the traditions, to practice yoga in particular, as I have been involved so deeply, and we realized that we are not that physical body. So we have, in vain, we have tried to become better and better in this body, better than others, but our neighbors, and have more and more and more. This is why the world is today here. Everything is material. But we realize in yoga that we are not that body. What are we gaining with this body is nothing. This body will go anytime. And what is left? If we have
Yes.
not done anything but for the universe, for the nature, for our internal being, we have lost. We have lost the game. So thank God, as we are in this body still, we have realized this body is just carrying us as a vehicle to reach the development of our soul, our being. So we have found methods like yoga, which teaches us that you are the seven bodies, and all these bodies has its own path to enlighten, to take to
Thank you.
enlightenment.
Thank you, Yogi Baba. Yogi Baba said that, Baba Adnan said that it's the ego, it's the anger, attachment, and hate which we developed inside us because we consider ourselves with limited identities of this body. Swami Dayananda used to say that spiritualism is considering even necessities as luxuries, and materialism is considering even luxuries as necessities. So let's go to another part of the world, Hawaiian Islands. And the question to you, Kilohana ji, is this, that who are the inner enemies? As we say, yoga is an inner victory. What are the inner enemies?
Aloha. Namaste. Thank you so much for welcoming me and Hawaiian culture as a part of this wonderful event. Hawaii is a very unique place on this planet. It's a very beautiful place. There's calm, there's peace, there are beautiful surroundings, the ocean, the mountains, the vegetation. I represent the practice of hula here, and hula, I feel very strongly, is very much related to yoga in that it seeks harmony. Through hula, through Hawaiian dance, it's more than just an entertainment. Very often one imagines the Hollywood impressions of hula, which are very beautiful, very festive, very entertaining, but in true traditional Hawaiian practice, hula can be a spiritual path as yoga can. And actually, everything is within, without, it's the same. And you can see I'm wearing the forest. The dancers in hula are clothed by nature, by the forest, by the tea leaves, the palapalai ferns. The dancer embodies nature, and we learn from nature. In hula, all of our movements, all of our gestures are derived from nature, inspired by nature. We describe the beautiful flowers, we describe the rainfall, we describe the mountains, the ocean, the body movements are said to undulate, but we're describing the clouds moving, the waves, the ocean, the rain. So all of this, it's without and it's also within us. And I had the great pleasure of introducing hula to many students in Paris many years ago. I lived there for 30 years. And it was amazing to me to make the discovery that even within a big city like Paris, we would go into the dance studio on a freezing cold winter evening, and we would be warmed from within by all the beauty that we were describing. Nature, our own nature that is there in all of us, if we just allow it to develop. And by the end of several hours of dance together, we would leave and we would feel refreshed and as though we had vanquished all of the difficulties that we encounter in life. And so many are, in fact, of our own manifestation. Yes, we encounter difficulties and obstacles in business life and everyday life, just walking down the street or in a car in traffic. But it's amazing how when we start to find this beauty that derives from the creation around us, within us, whether it's through yoga or hula, healing can begin for ourselves and for the entire planet.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kilohana ji. She said that it's the hula that is inner harmony. And she beautifully said that I'm wearing nature, I'm wearing the forest. And be with the forest, then only you will be in harmony. Be with the nature, you embody nature, then you will be relatively in a better harmony with the nature. So I'll come to Mimoun ji. Mimoun ji, what is it that disturbs this inner harmony? Why humans are not in harmony with themselves and with others also? You may need to unmute. Mimoun, yes, carry on. Ji.
The inner, that comes to me ultra. So, in a victory, it's a moment, just a moment.
You need to speak a bit louder.
Oh, now it's okay now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Please speak.
I try to say that the inner means inside, but life is in and out. And also in a victory, it's just a quantum, it's a moment. We are talking here the connection of man with the universe. Till this moment, we go all times and we try to read the ancient book, but we are now in a quantum time. Quantum time means we are particles. As a particles, we come from the beginning of time. Those particles, there we are calling atoms. So electrons, protons, neutrons, all those, the interference between those energy, those are the once he gives us the harmony, because when we go to the materia is formed by those particles. The beginning of time, they are started with those particles. So all relationship of all the human being and not human being are those particles. When we understand the worlds we see, everything we are around us are particles. So that takes us easy to do harmony with everything because all of us we are one. What's in this quantum time with the artificial intelligence day by day, moment by moment increase. But in human being, the intelligence day by day it's lost. In every minute it's lost. We are talking about robotic time. Robotic time, every time are developing. Even the body change robotic. They remove knees, remove hips, they remove teeth, skin. So the five elements are okay, but the five elements are particles. Once the particles are in harmony, because there are four forces, and I try to talk about this: the gravity, the electromagnetism, the strong nuclear energy, and the weak nuclear energy. All those energy are in our body, are in our man, in our universe. If we want to be one, we must to connect, because when we talk about particles, we are talking about the manifest. We are talking about God, because the beginner was the vibration. Those vibration, the Purusha start to be consciousness. Then Prakriti starts. And that's the development. So today we have one big problem. The problem, we are losing freedom. We are losing the human right. And
Thank
we are
you.
talking about the harmony. We are talking about the harmony, and I'm sorry, but everything is changed. We are in a chaos mode. That's my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you. Mimunji gave a new dimension and a twist to the discussion where Kilohana ji was talking about nature. Mimunji said, no, we are along with nature, we are particles and we are nothing but the accumulation of the particles. And he also said that the world is becoming more robotic over years, over time. Now the question comes to Arjuna ji is this, that when we say this particles, we are all are made up of particles. But when I go to woods and forest, same particles are in so much harmony with each other. But when those particles are accumulated in a human formation, what happens to us? Why are we not in harmony with self and with others? When we all are made up of particles in nature are so harmonized. But particle when takes a human form, what happens to us? Why human is not in harmony with self? Arjuna ji.
Namaste, Hari Om, Dr. Vikran, and these fellow speakers. So honored to be here. Actually, you can see this time I'm in an open place, and behind me there's people practicing yoga, celebrating the International Yoga Day. And is after listening to so much wisdom shared by the speakers, why the only thing I can share from my experience and from scripture, going back to the main problem why we don't find no balance, it makes my heart and mind go back to the Sastra, to Yoga Sutra, when Patanjali states that the first cause of suffering, the first cause of this suffering and this and of course unbalance and disharmony is ignorance of ourselves, ignorance of who we are, which of all fellow speakers would know is avidya, who we really are. And relating to this beautiful exposition of Mataji, when she's speaking about the nature and Mother Nature, reminds of me of this story of Shavaketu in the Upanishads when he's walking with his father in the forest in the Upanishad, and he asks him, Shavaketu, do you see this tree? If you go to the roots of the tree and you cut the root of the tree, what you find inside? You find this savia of life. You know, this savia is in Spanish, and in English, I believe is a similar word, but it's this water of life that you find inside. And you cut the tree in different parts, and he had, Father, when you cut the tree in the roots, you find this savia. What is this? What is this savia? Then you cut the tree in the trunk, you find the savia, and you go to the branches, and to small branches, and to all branches, you find savia. Tat tuam asi. Tat tuam asi, he states. That's what you are. You are that. You are that essence. Externally, we might be branches. Externally, we might be just a small leaf or big branches, small branches, part of the big trunk, part of the roots. But we all are interconnected. And this conference, these words are shared about inner victory. Our inner victory is understanding who we really are. So the body, we know, is a tool. The body is a temple. Our mind is a tool. It's a beautiful tool. It's a gift, but it's part of the Prakriti. And if we go back to scripture, if we go back to the teachings, it's only in the Shaiva tradition a manifestation of the divine Shakti, and in the other traditions is matter is part of the manifestation of the matter of Prakriti. But what we really are is that Purusha, that eternal spark of the self, that little part of the divine absolute self. So if we are able to connect and to realize that totality that we truly are, beyond from the ego, not seeing the ego as a bad thing, just is a tool. The body is a tool, ego is a tool, everything is our gifts. Our gift.
Thank you. So Arjuna ji so beautifully made the circle complete. He said, yes, there is a disbalance that comes out of ignorance of your true nature, your Swabhava. And he narrated a story of Svetketu, that unmanifest gets manifested in variety of forms, you, me, and everything, including nature. And we are one and deeply interconnected. Tat Tvam Asi, you are that only. Realizing the Purusha within, talks Patanjali Yoga Sutram. So then the question comes, once the enemy is identified, enemy is ignorance, enemy is avidya, enemy is limited identity is called ego, anger, attachment, hate, disconnect with nature, our true nature. Now the bigger question comes is, what is the solution? So again, coming back to Yogi Baba Adnan ji, now the culprit is identified. Now in our first round, we identified the inner enemy clearly. Now in the second round, we will be very specifically talking about how to win over that inner enemy of whatever we discussed. So very experiential and specific answer to the question, how to win over this inner enemy.
Well, as we have been unfortunately taught to be physically, individually, just that for so many thousands of years, the answer is that, in my opinion, we have to realize in a worldwide mind that everyone has to realize that unity, the oneness, is the answer. Because if we understand the oneness, like all dear speakers has mentioned altogether, that the whole nature, the sun and the sea, the water, the fire, animals, insect, everything is just one body. If we realize that oneness, then we cannot harm any element in this earth, and we cannot be destructive in any way. We will be always productive in that sense, that we have to develop this oneness, as mentioned earlier in my speech. We have to widely teach this yoga methods in the schools for the children to understand the oneness. When this is understood, like sometimes I ask my students, tell me what is success for human being. I ask my students, and so some says, okay, success is to be smart. Success is to get good profession. Success to become an artist. Success to be strong, powerful. Many, many words. At the end, I just said, of course, if they don't realize it, there's only one success. If you can have peace, internal peace, which is absolutely eternal peace, which comes with the bhakti, with pratyahara, with niyama practices of yoga, which you control your inner world, you balance your inner world, you go internally to self and realize who you are, with also bhakti, believing this creation, and you get the internal peace. You don't care so much about to become better than anybody else, and no competition with anything else in the world. You just be as you are in harmony, and you reach the peace. And I tell my students, that's the success. So that's the inner victory of.
Thank you. Thank you. Yogi Baba Adnan said that the solution is oneness, Advaita. There is no other. And he said that that brings the peace. And he probably is indicating that there are 4 types of people in the world. Type 4, unhappy and unsuccessful. Type 3, successfully unhappy. Type 2, happily unsuccessful. And type 1, successful and happy. And real success is being peacefully happy in wherever you are. That's amazing. Thank you very much. And he suggested that it's a 8 limbs of yoga are made for that only, for your inner peace and harmony. We'll go back to Kilohana ji. Now, once we have identified the problems of this disharmony, now from the wisdom of aloha, how to harmonize ourselves again and establish self back in peace. Practical tips from your side for everybody in the world. Practical tips. Yes, what to do.
I think it comes back to the word aloha, which is often used as a greeting here in Hawaii. We welcome people with the word aloha. We say farewell with the word aloha. We express love, but it's actually a path, a way of life. To really practice these principles is to live it, to feel it within oneself, to radiate it, to welcome others, to bring all of the particles together, that we're all one, we're all in harmony. We just need to realize it and find it. And if I have a moment, I'd like to share a chant that welcomes all. Oh, now nae tahala me talehu e halelehu noya nata noe. Oh, ta noya e ano ine ili ane ho io tahiti mai. Iti mai no oko, iti tu no me te aloha, aloha e, aloha e, aloha e. This chant describes that inner harmony, that peace that one finds within oneself, and it's so perfect, it's so beautiful, so calm. All that is missing is your presence. Mahalo.
All that is missing is?
You, the others, the rest of the world, that we realize this and come together in peace.
Thank you. Thank you. So beautifully you sang the song of Aloha, and she says that Aloha is the solution. Aloha means love, the path of being connected. And once you feel that connected, once you realize and you radiate it to everybody around, certainly that balance in your nature with your surrounding all automatically gets established. Mimoun will come back to you with your own point. These particles with which we are made Once those particles grow up as a human being, why do they fight them? Why don't they understand that we all are same in particles? In quantums, we are same. We are one. We are the same vibrations of the consciousness at the quantum physics. Then why it happens? Like I was talking to an expert of quantum physics. I asked him, does atom has a religion? Or is there a religion of electron? Then they said, no, particle has no religions. Then what happens to human beings? Why we fight? Why don't we establish ourselves in yoga? Particle accumulated, why do they fight? Yes.
Our genetic system.
Genetic.
Our system, we have all our inheritance from the beginning of time. So when we say I am, I'm in doubt that we are, because we are the continuation of others. We are the continuation of our ancestors. We are not. We have like clones of our parents, of our grandparents. So once we are born, we are not ourselves. We have too much information in ourselves that we must to resolve. At the same time, in my idea and my opinion, as a people who are created as a university, as human being, as all being, with those particles, we reach the freedom and the victory only when we do our last reshak, when we do our last expiration. All being of this planet, they will go victorious. That's the last moment. So there is no enemy. That is the connection. When we talked last time, I said connect with the beginning, and then in our genetic system, if we connect with our ancestors, one another by year, by generation, by time, we will get to the connection, the first connection with the creation. Just going the genetic system, we are right there. So there is many ways.
As usual, Mimunji gave another beautiful turn to the discussion. He said that actually this disconnect has got some genetic background also. And we are in a way, we are victims of victims. Like this deviation from the original self is being since ages, since time immemorial. So we really need to trace back, and we understand that we sprout from the same root. So that way we can connect back. Then certainly that's why probably in Sanatan Dharma, when a child is born, they tell in the ear of the child, Aham Brahmasmi. This is the first thing they want child to listen, that you know that you belong to that same root from where everybody has sprouted. So Arjuna ji, how to establish this connect with self back? As Mimunji said that even from the childhood it has to be done. So would you like to give some reflections on what kind of nurture should be there in the society and in the families, so that people can be established in self rather than taking selfie? So much interested in taking selfie, let's be more interested in self. What should be done? Yeah, you may need to unmute, Arjuna ji. Yes, carry on.
Hariom. I was trying to mention that I would like to remember, first of all, the invocation of the Isopanishad, which you all know. Purna madaha purnamidam purnat purnamudachyate purnasya purnamadaya purnameva vasisyate. So if we go back to the roots, we are already full. Everything is full. Everything is already there. And through the ages, the great sages and rishis from the tradition of yoga, and all the sages from all other traditions around the world, have shared to us these seeds of wisdom of understanding that everything that we were searching for is already inside, is already there. And through to be able to access uh, that understanding, to access that realization, that is mainly the word realization of the self, realizing who you really are, what you really are, that we cannot put into words, because you're talking about the infinite and put into words through the mind and to our thoughts and to our words limitations to what is infinite and is unlimited. And they have given us several different practices in different schools, in the traditions of the Andes Mountains, where I am, in here in Ecuador, in South America, in the different indigenous traditions, in the wisdom traditions all over the world, and especially the yoga tradition, the Vedanta traditions, the Bhagavata traditions, and Shaiva traditions. All these beautiful traditions have given different practices, but what they give is a way to be able for us to access to our most deepest self. So I believe it's very important to give to the children, to give to the youth, different techniques, and maybe just a simple techniques, relaxing your forehead, and observing your breath, feeling the touch of your breath, be here and be now. So this practice, as this one basic practice of different schools of meditation, might be an important practice to share with so many children and youth and all the people in the world. And there are so many practices, Dr. Brikhan, there's so many practices, so many schools, so much knowledge. But as the great Ramakrishna Paramahansa would say, to be able to kill yourself, you need only a small needle, only a small needle, only a little practice, only a small practice, but do it to be able just to connect as a means for connection.
Thank you. So Arjuna ji said that we are actually full, but we need to realize real plus eyes. We need real eyes, not these physical eyes, to see that we are full, and that is how we need to realize. And Swami Vivekananda always used to say, if only you knew who you actually are, Amritasya Putraha, the son of the divine you yourself are, as if the son of a king considers himself beggar of happiness and searching for small tits and bits of things around. And he said that such small practices should be introduced to the kids also. Now the time has come that whole world will be listening to us, and Baba Adnan ji, give us one practice that anybody who is not at all exposed to yoga can also initiate with. Anybody can initiate with for inner harmony and inner victory. One small practice that tomorrow onwards that person should start doing to get inner victory. Specific practice. What should I do tomorrow morning onwards? One small practice. And please, if I'll request all the guests to make it in 1 minute only, because we are running short of time. So in 1 minute, give me that small practice which you will suggest to the global audience.
Do you
Baba
see me
Adnan.
here? Can
Yes,
everybody see me? Okay.
Yes.
Now, with my all yoga practices, I have recognized the breathing is the most important, because the prana, the seed of the prana, which is the seed of the soul, it nourishes the soul, it nourishes all our intellect, all our cells. Prana is the most important thing. So I invest on prana, which is breathing technique. Like when people tell me I'm depressed, I am stressed, I don't know what to do, I don't feel good. The first thing I tell them, take few deep breaths and exhale very slowly. This is what I tell all my students. So to everybody I meet on the streets, to taxi drivers, to whoever I meet, they mention stress, they mention problem, pain. I tell them, okay, stop. Take 3 deep breaths and exhale slowly. If possible, close your eyes and see the breath coming out inside of your nostrils and coming out, and not expect anything else. This will be the aspirin of yoga for any answer. I mean, practically speaking, very easy, which everybody can do. And I do say this everywhere on the street, everywhere, to everybody. Stop. Just I say, you have a problem, you get anger, just stop. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly. 3 times.
Perfect.
That's it.
Thank
You will,
Thank
you will reach the peace inside.
Such
Your
a
mind will
simple
stop.
method. Yes.
Your
Such a
mind will
simple
stop,
method. Yes, yes.
and you will get the right answer.
Indeed, indeed. Such a
If that
simple
means,
method. Yogi Baba Adnan said, "How you complete yourself, Babaji?"
okay, so for me, what is missing in the world really is the education, spiritual education. And I found, of course, in Sufism, as I am from Anatolia, the light of Anatolia is very brightly shining, and that's spiritual matter. But also because I have entered the yoga life, and I respect and I like and I enjoyed and I became part of yoga, and yoga became part of me. I believe that if anybody practice the 8 limbs of Patanjali
Okay. Thank you.
continuously,
Thank you. Thank you, Babaji. So we
he
got
will.
a few tips from Baba Adnanji from Turkey. He said, breathing. Do the apprenticeship of breath. Be a student of breath, because breath is our soulmate. We started our journey called life with it, and we will end with it only. And it will help you to be mindful, to be in present. And spiritual education is another important thing we should go for. And third is follow the 8 limbs of Patanjali. I'll come to Kilohana ji. Practical one tip that you want our audience to start from tomorrow itself for inner victory. In 1 minute, it will be great. Yes.
I return to the breath, the ha. In Hawaiian, the breath is the source of everything. It's the source of our life. And in hula practice, we add the voice to the breath for chanting. And I give my students some basic exercises, breathing very deeply, as we were just hearing. And I ask to breathe from the belly, a really deep breath. And we add the voice, and we just do the vowels. And then in one breath, all 5 vowels. For children, very effective. You have 3 full sets in one breath, and then 5, and then 10, and then 12, and then 15, and you keep going, and you increase the capacity of breath, and you build confidence because you're adding the voice, confidence, and it creates peace and harmony.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So amazing. Thank you very much. She said that these 5 vowels should be chanted, and the vibration that it creates helps you to connect with self and the surrounding cosmos also. Thank you very much. Now, Mimoun ji, in 1 minute, quick, one tip, what audience should do from tomorrow onwards for inner victory?
First, to be connected. To be connected first. If the connection is there is nothing to do. Even if you do good pranayama. I want to say one thing. The energy vitality are neutrinos. Neutrinos, they are traversing us by millions in every moment. Even the planet is traversed by neutrinos. So when we take the breath, we take some neutrinos and air. But neutrinos, they are penetrating in ourselves, and practice to how harmonize those neutrinos. Each one has his sound. But the first thing that I say is do your job correctly. If you are mechanic, be mechanic. If you are anyone, face in this life because we are talking all time for intellectual people, but the planet is full for normal people. Those people, they are victorious as in any other one. That's
Thank
my
you. Thank you. Mimunji rightly said, do your job correctly. When you do whatever you're doing with your mind, body, and soul in that, automatically you become harmonized. Perfect. Thank you very much. Arjunaji, in 1 minute, very quick, your take, your tip for our audience to do tomorrow.
Dr. Brikanji and fellow speakers, previously recommended this relax your forehead and be aware of your breath. And all these great speakers have mentioned so many different beautiful techniques. And as you know, there are so many different techniques. And there's this beautiful practice of yoga we call mantra. You know, repeating mantra is so important. And I will suggest just one very easy and short mantra that everyone can repeat every morning as soon as they wake up. The first mantra. This mantra is thank you. Thank you. Be grateful. Be grateful for everything. First, as we say of Dharma, we do Dharma for the sake of Dharma. We don't do Dharma for anything else. And the same thing, we say thank you for the sake of gratefulness, of being grateful. So just before you open your eyes, before going out of bed, say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for the gift of consciousness. And then if you want, you can also thank you for the gift of this body, the gift of this mind, the gift of this beautiful present that is you, and the blessing that you are for life, and all the blessings in your life. So that's the only small recommendation I can give. Be grateful all the time. Say thank you as a mantra all the time.
Thank you very much, Gustavo-ji. And he said that being grateful and gratitude is the mantra. Thank you is the mantra. So let's conclude our discussion today, dear friends. Mimoun-ji said that and quantum physics says we all are particles modified, and we are gradually moving towards a robotic body, which we should not. And in order to harmonize, we need to start living in rhythm. And he said that where this rhythm is lost, is also has a genetic backup in that, and we are victims of the victims, and that's why we need to connect ourselves back to the source. And for that, start doing with the first step is connect with yourself. Then you'll be able to connect with source. How will you connect yourself? Whatever you're doing, do it right. With your mind, body, and soul focused on one thing, you'll be in sync and you'll be in more harmony with self. Yogi Baba Adnan ji said that the biggest enemies are ego, anger, attachment, and hate. And materialism is increasing, and we consider ourselves this body only. We should think beyond it, and we should think the oneness that is Advait. The moment you establish in oneness, you feel peace, and that peace can be reinforced by bhakti and love. And along with that, when we practice 8 limbs of Yoga Sutra, then certainly that get reestablished. And he gave some techniques of breathing, inhale and exhale, be in the moment, probably inhale love, exhale all your worries, go for spiritual education, learn Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Kilohana ji from Hawaii said, aloha is the method, aloha is the way, aloha is you are, aloha is love and everything. She said hula is inner harmony and be with the nature. She said wear forest, embody nature, move with the nature, carry your weather within you and be with the nature. She said aloha is the path of life, embrace everybody, radiate oneness. And for that she said have 5 vows. She said that even the voice is the modification of the breath itself. Breathe from the belly, and she gave such a beautiful 5 vows method from even kids to follow easily. Thank you very much. Gustavo ji said that the imbalance comes from avidya, ignorance. He mentioned about the story of Shwet Ketu and the tree, how it gets manifested from nothing. Similarly, nothing means it all united consciousness or the universal consciousness. He said that Tattva Masi, the moment we realize it, we realize the Purusha within this Prakriti, and then we realize that we are already full of abundance, and for that we need real eyes to be Amrita's Putra. For that we need to relax ourselves first, because a turbulent water cannot you see through it. So you need to have a peaceful water so that you can see through it. So relax yourself, observe your breath, and he gave a mantra for repetition, that is gratitude. So I express my gratitude to respective experts and all people who are watching us from different parts of the world. And let's pray together that we'll have our inner victory in life very soon. Thank you very much. Namaste. Oh, okay. Let's say hello. Namaste.
It's all the people from Ecuador. Namaste to all.
Namaste. Amazing. Hello,
International
Ecuador.
Yoga Day. Namaste.
Thank you.